on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. It is Thursday, October 13th, 2022. Is your boy Scott. You know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChestScott. You know to follow HB Media at HB Media TV on Twitter and at HB Media on Instagram. Of course, follow the Barbers Chat Network at Barbers Chat Net on Twitter and Instagram. Visit the BCNet.com. It is Thursday. Thursday night football is going on tonight in Soldier Field. For those of you who watched that bullshit game last week, I apologize. You're probably going to get part two tonight. But 79th and Hollis will be live tomorrow. We didn't recap the Vikings game because it was a short week, so we're going to recap both of them tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Time on the BCNet.com. Me and my brother Flows breaking down the game. Of course, Flows will be at the game tonight, covering as usual, like we do. We usually give y'all weekly coverage of every game. I'll be back at Soldier Field in about 3-4 weeks, for the rest of the season. So look out for that. We've got a guest coming up soon too. But before I start off, let's get into my sound off to start this week. These roughing the passer calls, man. There needs to be like some type of a board meeting. Like there's just been multiple calls we've seen this week. On Sunday, the Grady Jarrett roughing the passer call on Tom Brady, I thought was the worst call I've ever seen in my fucking life. Until 24 hours later, while I seen the same call on Derek Carr, that was the exact same. She actually worse than the one before. And there's something here where it's like the NFL. I understand it's a quarterback league. I understand offense sells tickets and things of that nature, but you're not allowing these defensive guys to play their position at full speed. What you want to do. He said himself, like, he didn't know, he's going full speed at the quarterback. You're not thinking about, let me hold this motherfucker down lightly. That's not something you're thinking in the heat of the game. And this is something where at the very least, it should be reviewable. Like, there needs to be something where, I remember when they reviewed pass interference, I thought that was a little bit too much because you can review that on every damn play. This at least needs to be reviewed because this is taking momentum away from games. It's going to lose somebody an important game at the end of the season, or a playoff game, even worse, if it's not being taken care of. And this is one thing the NFL needs to do. I mean, Roger Goodell, when I saw that, I was angry in neither one of them on my team. I could imagine if that was the Bears, I'd been ready to fight somebody. Like, there's a special place in hell for Roger Goodell after a whole bunch of shit we done seen this season so far. So they need to clean that shit up, man, for not just for the integrity of the game, not just to protect both sides of the ball, but also be a better experience for the fans. We don't want to be sitting up here a month and a half into the season. We up here talking about roughing the passer calls when we need to be talking about the AFC West isn't as good as we all thought it was going to be, man. So I'm going to start that off with just saying, Goodell, y'all need to get in the room and fix that shit, man. But we're going to get into it. We got a guest. Today, this is our first guest of the season, a friend of the program. So we can introduce one Ashley Nicole Moss to the show.
I'm the first guest of the season. That's exciting.
First guest of the season. You're a friend of the program now. It's your second time on the show.
Yeah, so but I'm first this time around, so that's exciting.
Yeah, so how's it going with you? What's everything going on? I know you got a busy schedule and everything. We appreciate you joining.
It's good. Football season is crazy, and then this is the time of year when everything starts to like mesh together.
Exactly.
Football is postseason, baseball, basketball is coming up in like a few days, so it's like one of the best times of the year. So it's a lot, exactly. But it's good. I'm excited. I enjoy it.
It's the best month of the year, I like to say, because you've got all these different, all the big sports on at one time. It's my birthday in 2 weeks, which is a national holiday. We got a lot of stuff going on at one time. But your Cowboys are doing great. Y'all are 4-1 right now. I got a big time Sunday night football game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 5-0. How are you feeling about just the Cowboys season in general, and just how it's going and what you're expecting in this game?
I mean, I think first and foremost, any Cowboys fan would be lying to you if after week 1, when Dak goes down, you're not like, oh shit, here we go. Like it's here we go again. Like it's all this hype up in the off season and all this talk about Super Bowl. Now we lose our guy. So it looked dark. I think all of us were kind of dreading the rest of the season. So it's been a pleasant surprise, offensively speaking, because I don't think anyone doubted defense, but I think that you can't ignore the fact that, great defense is a great defense, but you still need to put points on the board. And I think that's what we were all concerned about, how we were going to do that without our franchise guy. But listen, Cooper Rush is stepping up to the plate. And I think that, Kellen Moore is putting him in a position to win. They're not asking too much of him. They're not asking him to go out there and be Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, or even they're not even going out there and asking him to do the things that Dak Prescott would be able to do. Dak's more athletic than Cooper. He's more accurate than Cooper at times, but you put Cooper in a situation where it's just enough that he can go ahead and succeed with the pieces around him. And it's been working. And I think also when your backup goes ahead and takes the reins, you have a little bit of a cheat code in a sense that there's not much film on him, right? So you really don't know what his weak spots are. You don't know what his strong suits are. You don't really know how to stop him because you're not that familiar with him. Obviously, as the season progresses, the longer he's in, the more film that is going to be on him, the harder it's going to be to surprise, defenses and teams in general. But I'm very pleasantly surprised. And shout out, to the defense, the other side of the ball, for holding down the fort. Those boys look scary.
Yeah,
they look scary. Yeah.
And I think that's like the best thing about it is like the defense keeps it close, and then Cooper Rush, like you said, he doesn't turn the ball over, he doesn't make mistakes. And it was something that Rich Eisen said that was great. He said you never want a backup quarterback until you need one. It's kind of like a lawyer, and that's the same thing that we see right here. And it's been allowing Dak to get fully healthy because we know Jerry likes to push the button and rush people back. So with this, he's able to chill back, get another week. And I feel like you guys are coming into this game with house money. I know it's a division game. You don't want to lose. But if you go in there and you win with Cooper Rush, and it's like, okay, now we got this, and we got Dak coming later into the season. What do you think about just what the Eagles have done in general? Like, of course, it's your rival. What have they done this year? And we think the challenges they present for this Cowboys defense.
I mean, they're going to play. It's a division rivalry, and I think that unlike the Giants, unlike the Commanders, these are two teams that are legit contenders to take the division, right? The Giants are kind of rolling right now and they're having their moment, but I think when it comes down to it, it's going to come down to Dallas and Philly. And I think both these teams know that, 5 weeks into the season, they know what time it is. And for as much as I dislike Philly and the Eagles and all Philly sports in general, I will say they play rough. Philly's not going to make it easy. They know that we're at a deficit not having our franchise guy. They know that offensively, you're not going to be able to do as many of the things as you could do when you have, Dak in the game. You're going to be limited in certain things that you can plays and schemes that you can run. So they're defensively, they're going to pound us. They're going to make it gritty. They're going to be coming at Cooper every time he has the ball in his hand. They're going to be forcing him to get rid of that ball quick. They're not going to make it, easy for receivers, to get out there and do what they like to do. It's going to be a battle from beginning to end. I would be surprised if eventually the run game, gets a little bit difficult. Eventually you want to keep pounding at those guys. But in the beginning, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a bloodbath. It usually always is. And that's when we have our normal guy in there. When you don't, there's going to be some things they're going to try to take advantage of. But I'm confident that on our side of the ball, when it comes to defense, we'll be able to give it right back to them. So I think that as long as offense can avoid 3 and outs, and give as much time to the defense to recuperate, because they're going to need it, because they're going to be having to go full throttle every single time they're on the field. I think that we're in a really, really good position. You just got to avoid those 3 and outs. So once you see the hands on the hips, you're in trouble.
I'm a Bears fan. I see
hands on the hips, you're in trouble.
I see hands on the hip every damn Sunday. I'm a Bears fan. Church class, I know that. Now, we're going to see a lot of that tonight. We're going to see a lot of hands on hips tonight. But so who you got? You think the Cowboys pulling this out tonight?
I have my squad. I'm rolling with my boys. I think, offensively, like I said, it's going to be a little hard. I think that obviously, I don't think Jalen Hurts is like, Patrick Mahomes or anything, but I think that whenever you have your quarterback in, your main guy in, you're always at an advantage offensively. But I think that defensively, we're going to make it hard for them to get points on the board. And it's not going to be, as long as you don't make mistakes. You can't make mistakes, and you got to avoid 3 and outs. And every single possession, you want to either score, whether it's fully in the end zone, get that TD, or you got to go ahead and kick the point. I don't want to see any hero moves. I don't just take the points. Just always take the points, Mike.
Take the points.
There, take them.
Don't be like how Josh McDaniels was on Sunday. Take the damn points.
Don't do it.
But Of course, let's get to some NBA stuff. NBA season kicks off next Tuesday.
Yeah.
The defending champion Golden State Warriors, of course, they've been in the headlines like a lot this last week. So we all know the fallout: Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, the punch heard around the world. My personal opinion on it is, I didn't think it was that big of a deal because I believe this type of stuff happens all the time. It's just we saw the videos that makes it different, and it like puts a little spotlight on Jordan Poole a little bit more. And I personally think that this is punched Draymond's ticket about it. It might not happen this season, but I do think that this might be the last year.
Do you think it was a sucker punch?
No, I don't.
Okay,
That's his fault. No.
I had that discussion too, and I'm like, I think Twitter's divided on what a sucker. Maybe it's like, yo, if you're from the hood, you know what a sucker punch is.
Right, that's not a sucker punch.
I felt like it was definitely an unexpected reaction from a teammate. That I completely understand. Like, you get into an altercation, he gets in your face, you push him back. You're probably not expecting him to, punch you in your face. You're probably expecting a push back or like him in your face. But that I get. But you can't. I feel like a sucker punch is like, for me,
a sucker punch is out of
I can't be looking you dead in your eye if I'm gonna sucker punch you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we talked about this on our Summer Sessions podcast last night. It was me, Pavy, and my homie Merck. He said, best in Chicago, you get 2 G's. After the second G, you getting hit, but I'm gonna catch you. Like, yo, get off me. And he didn't do that. So that was Jordan's fault, but not keeping his hands up at least a fair distance. I feel like Draymond, as a grown man, you're not gonna let another grown man get in your face that close with at least out you being like, yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
But again, he, like we said in the beginning, he probably didn't expect his teammate to punch him in the face. So
I wouldn't expect my brother to punch me in my face, but if he get in my face that close, I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, like back up. Like, what are we doing? Don't invade my personal space here.
Right.
But I think with it's just kind of like a thing where it's the video is what makes it bad. And so we all know Draymond's not suspended. Got the ring ceremony. What's your opinion on how everything got decided? And do you think this is really going to affect this season or long term for the Warriors?
I mean, I don't feel like they were going to press charges against Draymond. Like, I don't think that was ever going to happen. I'm surprised he didn't get a suspension for it. But again, I feel like had it happened in a game, you would have had no choice. But because it's practice, the footage got leaked. It's not like anybody would have ever seen it had the footage not got leaked. It would have been like an urban legend kind of thing. Exactly. I felt like maybe that changed the need for a certain type of discipline for the Warriors. The justification of, well, we wanted him to get his ring was kind of idiotic. Could have kept that to yourself. But I think that long term, look, I mean, maybe men are different than women. Women would hold a grudge. Like, we would hold that grudge. Maybe, once Jordan gets his hit in at some point, at some practice, maybe, all well that beat well, or whatever the saying is, everything's squashed. I don't know if it's going to prevent them from being able to perform. I don't know if it was that drastic. It also seems like the way that Draymond was kind of comfortable getting into his face, it seems like there has been situations between them before. I don't think this was like a first time thing. The punch might have been a first time thing, but like the chirping back and forth, I don't know if that was the first time that's happened. But listen, these guys are professionals, and I know people's egos are involved, and maybe, Jordan will get his revenge at some point in the season. But I think that ultimately they can put all that aside and do what they need to do. And that's to win championships. And this is a really good basketball team. I just can't see grown men foregoing the chance for another ring, a two-peat, because someone got punched in the face at practice. I just can't. I can't come to that conclusion.
And especially when you got like guys like Stephen and Clay who've been saying they want to get the 5th ring, and that puts you in the Magic, the Kobe, the Jordan. And if there's any coach who's prepared to handle it, this dude got punched up, Steve Kerr. Jordan punched him in his shit.
Michael punching Jordan. So.
Right, exactly. So anybody can handle this. Now, one last thing before we get you out of here, with the NBA season coming up, to me personally, it's kind of like I ain't that excited for it yet. It's kind of like I'm not that hyped for it because I kind of feel like it's been more drama off the court than it has been about, stuff on the court. So in your opinion, what are you looking forward to this season? And like, what's like the number one storyline that you like coming like on the court storyline for you for this upcoming season?
Obviously, I'm always looking forward to my Knicks.
Of course.
I mean, I'm looking forward to some semblance of success that we had the year before last when we were the fourth seed. Obviously, the East is drastically more competitive than it
Very
was
deep. Yeah.
at that point in the season. And also, COVID and things kind of, change a lot of teams and availability and things like that. But I think, from what I've seen in preseason, the squad looks great. They look everyone knows what their role is. And I think that's what the biggest difference maker for this team is going to be. I think last season there was a lot of pieces, but nobody really knew their responsibility. So I'm excited to see, what that looks like. I'm excited to see Julius's bounce back season. I'm excited to see the young guys kind of, start, taking the reins and being the next wave that's going to run this organization, this franchise. I'm excited to see if Boston and Miami can repeat the magic of last season. Boston's had a scandal, and losing a coach is not a fun thing. It's worse than losing a player because a great coach makes all the difference. So it's going to be interesting to see how, the new head coach is able to recreate that magic. I think that, Ime Udoka was a big part in Boston's success. I mean, you saw his schemes, when to switch, when to change the rosters. I mean, he just knew what he was doing with those guys and they trusted him. And it's going to be hard to get that, with somebody else. So that's something to look out for. And obviously Brooklyn. I think that Brooklyn is a team with a lot of question marks. The talent's there. It's just a matter of how is it going to work for the entire season. But Ben Simmons looked incredible last night. I caught some pieces of that preseason game against the Bucks. I mean, he was giving it to Giannis for somebody who hasn't played basketball in over 400 days. He was giving it to Giannis, got him frustrated enough to constantly pass the rock instead of trying to shoot. So I think health is going to be their biggest thing. I think the talent obviously is there, but you can't create the chemistry without, the availability. So,
exactly.
And then I think on the West Coast, you're looking at the Clippers. They Paul George is back. Kawhi is back.
Finally, I can stop covering Reggie Jackson every game.
It's gonna be interesting what that team looks like. The Suns, they got some stuff with them going on.
A lot.
DeAndre Ayton and Monty Williams obviously communicate through a moderator because they don't talk to each other. I'm not sure how that works. And lastly, the Lakers. I mean, they look like they're in some trouble.
What
I know you're in LA. They're in some trouble.
They're in some trouble. Like is two things. One, I'm just glad covering the Clippers for the second year. I ain't got to watch the bench players every game. There's no disrespect to them, but if I'm gonna come all the way out to downtown LA, I at least want to see somebody play. So I'm glad Kawhi and PG. The Lakers. What Luka does to them on Christmas is gonna be damn near racist. Like that's how bad it's gonna be. So I don't know about the Lakers, man. But
how you think Westbrook and Pat Bev are gonna be able to coexist?
Pat Bev would be fine. Pat Bev would be fine. Shout out my Chicago guy, Pat Bev. Russ is gonna be out of there before All-Star break. That's my prediction.
Wow.
I think he would be Indiana Pacer by All-Star break. 100%. I think it's just a matter of time. Like I didn't like the body language I saw last night in the pregame and stuff. Pat Bev trying to rally the team. You over here. It just don't look good to me. So that's my prediction that he's gonna be gone. And I'm a Russ guy. I love Russ. I think he used the scapegoat last year, but I think he's gonna be up out of there. So.
Wow.
That's what. As far as the Bulls, it's gonna be a lot of 2-on-5 going on with DeMar and Zach. So
what's going on? What's going on with Lonzo? That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, if I'll be shocked if I see him this year. I hope I do. I will be shocked. They said there was some good news with the surgery, so hopefully we'll see. But I think the Bulls could be anywhere from 5 to 8. Nothing would shock me. It's really about health and see what them gonna do. So it's gonna be interesting.
Y'all had your moment in the very beginning when it was
in the very beginning, and then injuries, like Chicago sports always does. They bring you back down. That's what they do. But real quick, you a Yankee fan? Are the Yankees bringing home 28 this year?
I'm not gonna jinx it, but I'm feeling good energy. I'm gonna say that I'm feeling real good energy about this year. I think.
Okay.
I think this is the year. I
Just
feel it.
take care of Cleveland.
I feel it in my spirit. I'm telling you.
just take care of Cleveland because I'm a Sox fan and I hate them. But let them know where they can follow you at, everything you got going on. I know you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, what you got coming for this upcoming season. Let them know where they can get to it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could just keep up with me at Nicole Moss on Twitter and Instagram. Any announcements, and there'll be a few in the next coming weeks.
Okay.
You'll see it there first. So yeah.
All right. Looking forward to that. Thanks, G. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
All right. So we gonna get into it, man. Once again, thanks to Ashley for joining us, man. Let's get into our playoff talk, man. MLB playoffs, man. Today, the Yankees Guardians game 2 has been postponed. They'll be back playing tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a triple header for the MLB. In the National League, we've got, two split series right now. Braves and the Phillies. The world champion Braves got back into it last night with a 3-0 victory over the Phillies. That's a 1-1 series. The Dodgers lost a very close game last night. Manny Machado led that team. The Padres now 1-1. They're going to be heading to Petco for the first playoff home game in San Diego in 16 season. You already know it's going to be cracking the Petco on Friday. And this is a situation where I feel like the Dodgers did not want to give the Padres this type of momentum heading into that game. My thoughts on these two series. One, I feel like right now that the Phillies are the team that, I won't say they're the team of destiny, but if there's any team that gives me a 2019 Nationals vibe right now is Philly. Because their pitching is looking good. And despite them losing last night, their pitching is looking good. Zach Wheeler's been looking good. Nola's been looking good. The bullpen's been shockingly good. And these guys are scoring runs. But Bryce Harper is starting to get some feeling back in that shoulder. He's been good. The thing about the Braves, man, they're the champs. They're the champs. They're not going to go out without a fight. And they need to go into it and take it from Philly because you don't want to have a situation where you're not coming back to Atlanta. So they need to go in there and get inside that Rockets atmosphere. This is another place. We got 3 teams who ain't been to the playoffs in a very long time. We've got, of course, the Padres, like I just named. We got the Phillies. This is their first time since 2011. And, of course, we all know how Rocket is going to be in Seattle on Friday. And they ain't had a game at the crib in 21 years. So this is the thing where if you're the Braves, you don't panic. You get it together, you go home. I mean, you don't roll game 3, you take care of business, and you get the series back in your favor because you want to look up. You're down 2-1, and now the Phillies have a closeout game at home. And this is the thing about the wild card series that I like that we saw from last week. By the way, first official wild card round, I loved it. It was entertaining. All the series went down to the wire for the most part. 3 out of the 4 series were won by the road team, which shows you that it puts a better importance on the regular season because you don't want to be in these wild card spots. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be something where you work this hard and now you're done in 2 days, like the Mets. You know what I'm saying? They had 2 bad weeks, and they went from having a first round bye to being on the road against a team, being home against a team that's been fighting for their playoff lives for like a month and a half. And then, the bad thing is it doesn't let you allow you to set your rotation. But if you got that momentum, the MLB playoffs are all about who's hot at that time. It doesn't matter. And that's pretty much what we saw from the Phillies and from the Padres and from the the other team who won, the Mariners, my bad, and the Mariners. So you're really seeing, just how the energy is translating into this series. So the Braves, like I said, they've been there before. They don't have to panic. But game 3 is a must. Game 3 is a must win. You don't want to be in a closeout situation on the road against a team as hot as Philly in game 4. In the NLDS, these division matchups, and this is the same thing with Atlanta and Philly. The Dodgers have dominated the Padres all season, dominated them front to back. But when you play a team as much as you play each other and your division rival, when you come to playoffs, that type of shit don't matter. All the stats and numbers go out the window because you know the team so well, and it's really about X's and O's. And I won't say Clayton Kershaw had a bad start last night. It was okay, but the offense has to take advantage of these opportunities when you have runners on base. There was too many people in scoring position last night for the Dodgers, and they were fucking it up. Will Smith had 2 big opportunities in that game, and they didn't do it. You have to take advantage of this because the Padres believe themselves. Manny Machado, and by the way, as a White Sox fan, it's funny to me that Jerry Reinsdorf didn't think that Manny was worth the next $25 million. He's showing you what type of player he is in these playoffs, that he's a gamer. He knows what it takes to win. He willed himself in that series against the Mets. He put the team on his back last night to do is you, Darvish. Really good game. Then you got Blake Snell coming in game 3. That's gonna be a crazy crowd. That I don't think it's gonna be as crazy as Seattle, but it's gonna be crazy up in Petco. Petco is probably my most favorite part that I visited. So I know those fans have been waiting for playoff baseball and they're gonna be ready for this team. And even though you don't have a Fernando Tatis, this just shows you how important that Juan Soto deal was, because now you got a guy in Juan Soto who knows what it takes to win. He won a World Series before. He knows what type of stuff that needs to get done. You got a very experienced manager, and you got your guys who they don't stop. They don't fight. Kim has come in and he's filled in perfectly as shortstop, actually playing better defensively shortstop than Fernando Tatis. And you had Jake Cronenworth. He came in with the late home run last night to be able to, seal the deal for that game. But the Dodgers, this is important offseason, important playoffs for the Dodgers, because the Dodgers always do this thing over the last decade where they have a dominant regular season and the playoffs come and they shit on themselves. They can't allow that to happen. So this one is just as important as it is for the Braves. You need to go out there and you need to get game 3. You need to get game 3. You don't want to put yourself in an elimination situation on the road. Learn from your mistakes of the past and win that game, man. So I picked the Dodgers in 4. I'm gonna stick with it. I picked the Braves in 5, and I think that's gonna go 2-5. I think that's gonna be a series that's gonna go down to the wire. But I think that these two teams, they've been here before. They should be able to take care of business. Now on the AL side, only got one game to talk about in the Yankee series because game 2 is tomorrow. Like I said on the He Gone podcast, not He Gone, but 40-40 Club this week, if the Yankees played their game of scoring runs, hitting the long ball, the Guardians have no fucking shot. And this is a game where I feel like for the first 5-6 innings, they played the Guardians game. You're not going to win that way. Their pitching is too good. Their defense is too good. They don't give up on at-bats. But they're scoring home runs. This should not be close. You go out there and you get a home run from Harrison Bader. You go out there and you're getting good contributions from everybody on the team. That's going to pay off. Now, my biggest question mark for this Yankee team is the closer situation. You know what I'm saying? The up and downs that they've been having. They can't allow that for the rest of this postseason. And this is something where I feel like they can go out here, they win game 2, they do what they got to do. This is going to be a clean sweep. And that's what I expect them to do. Aaron Judge is going to get into it. Carlos Stanton's going to get into it. Josh Donaldson is a goofy too. But we all know the many reasons that Josh Donaldson is a goofy. But you got to run that out, man. Stop doing a little, pose when the ball's in the air. The ball, you don't pose until you know the ball is actually out the park. Run that out. Like, at the very least, he should have been on second base. But see, since he wanted to stunt, his ass got out at first. You can't be allowing shit like that, man. But I think the Yankees be fine just because I don't think the Guardians can score. I don't think the Guardians can score, and I think it's going to be a clean sweep. Now, as far as the Mariners Astros, man, death taxes, Houston Astros. The Mariners had that game. They had that game in their fucking hands. And when you have an opportunity to beat the Houston Astros, you got to fucking beat them. The biggest mistake in the game is the panic move when they brought Robbie Ray into the game. I could see if this was a game 5, the season is on the line, the series is on the line, and you want to roll with a guy, one of your starters. That I could understand, even though Robbie Ray has been getting shelled by the Astros all fucking season. He has not been good against them. Putting him in there, I think everybody with a brain knew this one was over. And then especially after the first pitch he threw. You don't throw a fastball to Yordan Alvarez when the game is on the line. Then you got away with it because he fouled it off. But what does he do? He throws another fucking fastball, and that shit was a no fucking doubter. You can't do things like that. And for a young team like the Mariners, that win would have gave them so much confidence. Now, I'm not saying the Astros would have been on their backs or anything like that, back to the wall. They've been in these situations like this for the last 7 years. They've seen every situation you could possibly see. I don't think there's going to be anything that was going to deter them. But you got to jump on them while you can, man. And this is a game that, unfortunately, I think the series is over now. Like, they might get a game. They might get game 3 because they'll be at home. But that's a game that can shell shock you, especially a very young team like that, like themselves. And, they had a day to think about it, too. You never want that off day when you get rocked like that. So, very interested to see how game 2 is going to go today. But I think this one's going to be a clean sweep. I had it Astros in 4 at first. But after that, it's a clean sweep, man. They took their souls with this one, man. I think the Astros are gonna move on. That's all my thoughts for the MLB. Let's get into our NFL Week 5 recap, man. Let's go over my top 5 thoughts from this past week in the NFL before we get into Week 6. Number 5, the Giants are hustling backwards. Yes, they're 4-1. Yes, they're right in the middle of this NFC East hunt, if you want to call it. But like we was talking about when Ashley was on here, it's a 2-team race. It's the Cowboys and it's the Eagles. You know you're not bringing Daniel Jones back. Or as my man 312 Darius on Twitter says, Dan Jones. You know you're not bringing Dan Jones back, okay? You need to build on what you're building with this young team, this foundation you have with Brian Daboll. Winning this year does nothing for you. This 4-1 does nothing for you because we all know reality is going to come crashing down, and this team's not going to make the playoffs. And I'm not saying they need to go out there and tank or anything like that, but I don't really see what winning all these games gets you. You need to be focused on, getting you a quarterback, getting you a legit number one wide receiver out there to pair with that young quarterback, because you're not bringing Daniel Jones back. You need to worry about the future of this team because making the playoffs doesn't do anything. So I don't understand the hype from Giants fans from this. I understand you like when your team wins. I get it. But think about the future. Think about long-term how this will help this team. What helps this team is a top 3 draft pick. What helps this team is getting the actual quarterback to build with Brian Daboll and the system you have there. So I'm just not understanding this. And I do think eventually time will come crash. And I think it's going to crash this week, when they play. But it's a waste of time what they're doing with the Giants, man. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams miss each other. Now, I'm a petty person from time to time. It brings me great joy to know that Monday night, Aaron Rodgers was sitting in his house watching that Monday Night Football game like the rest of us, saying, man, I could get that ball to Devontae better. And I know Devontae is like, man, Rodgers could have got that ball to me more better. Now, I've always been a Devontae Adams fan. And I can just openly root for him now because he's not on that bitch-ass team from Wisconsin. But it's just amazing to see Aaron Rodgers struggle with mediocre wide receivers. It's amazing to see Aaron Rodgers not have the control that he once had. I wish nothing but bad things for Aaron Rodgers and that entire franchise, and know that he once had a guy that could have easily put him, especially with as shit as the NFC is this year, could have easily put him back in that title race. The fact he doesn't have anymore, it brings me great joy. It brings me great joy to watch that. And as far as Devontae, we're going to get into that push later on in the show. But Devontae went out there, and I hate Aaron Rodgers, obviously. He went out there and was like, well, Derek Carr is, I went from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another Hall of Fame quarterback. What Hall of Fame quarterback are you talking about? He damn sure wasn't talking about Derek Carr. And one thing we've seen in these first 5 weeks is the disconnect. Now, of course, it's going to take a minute for him to gel, but Derek Carr is just not that damn good. He when you look up mediocre in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of Derek Carr. And that's just pretty much what the situation is. And you got both of them thinking about what if. And as a Bears fan, I'm glad that what if will stay a what if. So that's what I got to say about that. My third observation, outside of last week's Thursday Night Football game might have been the worst football game I've seen in my life, that's followed by the worst football game I ever seen in my life the week before, is that all this hate coming out from Russell Wilson. And by the way, slightly warranted because he's playing like shit. But a lot of people just don't like Russell Wilson, and I didn't know it was like that. Like, of course, we know on Twitter, we have some lame motherfuckers who, they're big Future fans, and they want to take it out on Russ for whatever weird-ass fucking reason. But there's a lot of people in the football community who don't like this man, and we're seeing it come out. It's like they were waiting for him to fuck up so they could bring all their hate out. And it's just, to me, it's been a little bit unnecessary. You can keep it football. You can say he's playing like shit. You can say he's falling off. You can say he is not as good as we thought he was. You can say that the Broncos wasted $230 million paying him. We can say all those things. When you bring it into a personal thing, and there was I forgot the guy's name on Good Morning Football. It's Kyle something. And he was like, well, this is a guy. He's not a likable guy. I remember when he was on the red carpet for the NFL honors, and he acted like, like he's better than somebody, him and his wife, Sierra. Y'all not Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's like, bro, what they got to do with football? Like, they ain't got nothing to do with football. Let's keep it football, man. And we already know how the LOB, we all know how Legion of Boom feel about him. Like, we saw Richard Sherman having flashbacks from not running the ball last week. But it's just really putting in perspective just how many people didn't like this dude and people thinking he's a fake. And just even Pete Carroll coming out like, I told y'all motherfuckers. Y'all told me to let Russ cook. See what happens when he cooks? It's like he's coming around and see everybody talking about him. It's even other Seahawks players. Like, see, this is the type of shit we have to deal with. So it's making me think, is he really an asshole? Is he really this thing when we're seeing him, how he presents himself? Is it a facade? Things that make you say, But all I say for the players and people who used to play with him, I get it. But if you're just a reporter, you out here taking personal shots at the man. That shit is corny to me. But my number 2 observation from this week. The Super Bowl representatives, the Rams and the Bengals, those dudes are on fraud alert right now. The Bengals, I've not liked what I've seen from the Bengals all year, and I especially didn't like what I've seen from them on Sunday against Baltimore. The Rams, I picked the Cowboys to win last night, and that's the reason why I picked the Cowboys to win last night. They are just looking out of sync. Now, I give the Rams more of a pass than I give the Bengals. Even though both offensive lines are shitty, but the Bengals just don't look good. Like, they just look like a team that caught fire last year. The Rams have more of an excuse because they lost so many people that they had last year. They don't have an Odell. Half the offensive line they had from last year is gone or hurt. So when you have a guy like Matthew Stafford, he's not able to get into the full offense, and you're seeing Detroit Matthew Stafford on a consistent basis, and that's going to be a problem. And this is a team where both of these two are in the danger zone. I think both can still make the playoffs, but they both got kind of like a get right game this week. They got to win those. But if you look at the Rams schedule coming up, it does not look good. It does not look good whatsoever. And I think this thing can get really off the tracks. And you just kind of see both teams dealing with the Super Bowl hangover right now. And it's only one or the other. It's usually the loser. But you're seeing both going them right now. So I'm really interested to see. This is a make or break moment for both teams to see how they move forward. My number 1 observation for week 5 is the AFC West is mid. It's mid. I thought it was going to be great. A lot of other media members thought it was going to be great. Fans thought it was going to be great. We thought it was going to be a must-watch division every week. No, the only must-watch team is Kansas City. The Chargers they're looking mediocre. You know, half their team is hurt too, so you got to give them a pass. The Raiders have just been bad. Like, I picked the Raiders on my wild card team, but they just been bad front to back from all cylinders. This has not been a good team. And you know, I did not pick Denver to make the playoffs because I did say that Russell Wilson, he tricks people a little bit because Russell Wilson has a great first half and then not so great second half. He's not having a great anything right now. And they're looking worse offensively than the Bears look. And you never want to be with the Bears in any type of offensive category. And it's looking like a division where as long as Patrick Mahomes stay healthy, I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs should be able to run away with it. And this is a reminder to a lot of people, like I said in the regular season, the preseason, in the offseason, I don't give a damn about Tyreek Hill leaving, bro. This is It's Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say the offense is better without Tyreek Hill. That's ridiculous. But more guys are getting shots. The offense is more spread out without Tyreek Hill. You know, you can have something where, like you got with Travis Kelce, he has 4 touchdowns, only 4 receptions and 26 yards. Like, that type of shit is nuts because Pat is spreading the ball around. The defense is making plays. So I feel as long as they stay healthy, this should be that division to run with, and it's not going to be the competitive fatal 4-way match that we all thought we were going to get, man. I'm actually kind of tired of seeing the Denver Broncos on national TV. Like, we got to watch them again on Monday. I'm getting tired of it. And we got to see a lot of it because everybody thought Russ was going to go crazy, and he has not done that. So this moves on to my weekly power rankings. Like I'm always say every time we do this, I'm going to keep telling you all the criteria for this. This is based on week to week. These are not who I think are the better teams in general, who I think is going to be there in the end. This is strictly a week-to-week list. You can have a good record and be on this list one week and not be on it the next week. So let's be very clear on how I pick my 10. Number 10, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams for all the reasons I just named. They have a get-right game this upcoming Sunday against the Panthers, who, you know, even if they had Baker Mayfield, it wouldn't matter. But Baker Mayfield's not going to be playing. He's got an ankle injury. They've got to get this shit together. They got to get the offense together. They got to find a way to get this offensive line to play better, and they got to spread the ball up more. And a lot of that will be like if some guy, I don't know his name, maybe his name Allen Robinson, who actually play like he's worth a damn, this offense will be a little better. So I'm going to put them at number 10. Number 9, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. And the reason that they're only still even on this list is because I don't believe in the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have fraud written all over them. Like, there's no way. They were beating the hell out of the Bears in the first half. That game was on the road to looking like a Mark Trestman level era level loss for the Bears. But Justin Fields said, fuck this. And the offense actually looked like they were running plays. And they cut it down. They took the lead. It was a situation where the fucking Vikings had to bring it all the way down to the last drive, the last play of the game. I'm not buying this record they got right now. And I think eventually that the Packers will get enough to at least win this division. Now, the Packers ain't going to do nothing besides that. But the Packers being on the list is more my disbelief and my lack of faith in the Minnesota Vikings more than this is a stand with the Packers. I don't think the Packers are a good team. Number 8, I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. Then we starting a rookie quarterback this week. Of course, Tua is out again. Teddy Bridgewater got hurt last week, so he's not going to play this week. But this week, the Dolphins play the Vikings. That game can go either fucking way, but I think the Dolphins have enough to at least hold the fort down to either one of Teddy or Tua comes back, and that they still should be able to win this, make the playoffs. And I think Mike McDaniel's system is enough for them to hold it down, man. So I'm going to keep them in number 8. And 7, I'm going to go Baltimore. And defense concerns me, but they got a nice win this week against Cincinnati. Being able to close that up. They've got a nice little lead now in the division. They should be able to hold the fort. To me, Lamar's right there in the MVP race with Josh Allen. They've looked good. And so I'm going to put them at 7. Number 6, I got the Dallas Cowboys, man. This is a team I was not high on after the Tyron Smith injury because I thought there was just too many hurdles for them to overcome. But Cooper Rush, man. Cooper Rush is holding it down. That defense is holding it down. They got a nice win against the Rams. And they got an opportunity to get a win here this week against the Philly, and that will really, really put them in good position. So I'm really just liking everything I'm seeing from Dallas. And I know a lot of Cowboys fans don't like Mike McCarthy, but I got to give some love to Mike McCarthy. He's doing a good job of coaching his team amongst all these injuries they've been having. So they're going to be number 6. Number 5, San Francisco 49ers. Niners got a big-time win last week. The only fucked up thing for the Niners is all these injuries they have, man. They got 2 more injuries in the secondary, and that's gonna hurt them. But to me, they look like they're back to playing Niners football, where the running game has been a big part of it. Deebo Samuel's back to being Deebo, and Jimmy G is putting these guys in positions to win. And I think this is a team that they can be a contender in the NFC just because of the comfortable, how comfortable Jimmy G is with the offense and them getting back to the things that make them great. And the defense has been good. So they'll be number 5. Number 4 will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Even though they struggled with Atlanta, I think Atlanta is a better team than a lot of people give them credit for. The defense looked really great. Tom Brady starting to come together a little bit. This team just needs continuity. They need to stay healthy. They got a get-right game against the Steelers this week. I think they're going to be fine. Anytime you have Tom Brady on your team, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt until you actually don't do it. So I'm going to put them in number 4. Number 3, my top 3 from last week has not changed. Number 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Big time win this week. They've got a big AFC divisional round rematch against the Bills this upcoming week. They can win that. That puts them in prime position to do some great things. Pat is looking motivated. I just really like what I'm seeing from the Chiefs altogether. So I'm putting them in number 3. Number 2, I have still the only undefeated team left in the NFL. That is the Philadelphia Eagles. They eked out a close one against the Cardinals last week, but I still love everything I'm seeing from that team on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. And number 1 for the 5th straight week in a row is the Buffalo Bills, man. They did exactly what they're supposed to do at home against Pittsburgh last week. They're going to come for that get back this week. You know, if you're a Bills fan, if you're a Bills player, if you're a Bills coach, I'm pretty sure you've been thinking about that fucking game last year that they lost to the Chiefs. And you know they want to go in the Arrowhead and get some payback, man. So I'm going to keep the Bills number 1 for the 5th week in a row. So those are my weekly power rankings, man. So let's get into our Week 6 preview. I got my must-watch games and my sneaky good games, man. We'll start with my sneaky good games. I got 2 for y'all. Seahawks and Cardinals. Sneaky good game. Both these teams have been competitive. Even though Seattle lost, even though both of these teams lost last week, this is a team that I feel like this is going to be a very competitive game. Geno Smith has been way better than I thought he was going to be. Had a great chance to steal one from New Orleans last week. Missing Rashard Penny is going to hurt them a lot, but I do think that just their system that they run and running-wise is going to help them. They're going to be at the crib. This is going to be one of those games I think is going to come down to the wire. It's going to be, you can press the stupid finish alert button right damn now for that game. Number 2, I got Falcons and Niners, a sneaky good game because the Niners have been playing well. They got some injuries in the secondary, but the Falcons, man, I love the young Falcons and things that they're doing. They're putting up points. They're going to be at the crib. I don't know who of course I'm not picking. We'll get into the picks in a minute, but this is going to be another close game. Well, if the Niners don't come with their shit right, they could lose. Now, my top 3 must-watch games this week. 3, I'm going to go Packers-Jets at Lambeau Field because this is a must-win for the Packers. They don't want to be under 500. Lose not under 500, but at 500. The Jets are a team. Their feelings good after their win last week. The defense has been playing well. Zach Wilson has been decent. And this is a team in the Packers who lost to Daniel Jones last week. Win a fucking shootout with Zepp on the front. I don't know dude's first name. Zepp on the Patriots at home. Went to overtime. So you telling me the Jets can't do the same thing? This is going to be a really, really good game, man. And it's something where it's not a must-win for the Jets, but the Jets can come up here in a set and put the real big pressure for the division on the Packers, man. So I'm going to go there as my 3rd must-watch game. Number 2, big division matchup, man. Sunday Night Football, Eagles, Cowboys in Philadelphia. One of the best rivalries in football. Both teams having great seasons. Both fan bases going to be ready. This is going to be a super fun one. You got an opportunity for the Eagles. They can put some distance between them and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys kind of playing with house money. Nobody's expecting you to win this game with Cooper Rush. But if they can go out there and win this game without Dak Prescott and be tied for first place, would be fucking perfect. That's the best case scenario for the Cowboys. And you got Dak coming back in a couple weeks. That would be just amazing for them. But we all know the number 1 must-watch game this week. Chiefs, Bills, AFC Divisional Playoff game last year is one of the greatest football games I've ever watched in my life. Great defense plays, great offensive plays, overall great game. You got a team in Kansas City who wants to let it be known, like, we don't give a damn what the Bills is doing. This is still our league. It's still our conference. It's going to stay our conference. And you got a team in the Bills where they've been thinking about this game all season. They've been thinking about it all season of how they jagged that game and not letting that opportunity pass their way again. And this is something where everybody's going to have their eyes fixed on it. And I'm really looking forward to hearing Tony Romo call this one, man. So we're going to wrap this up with my predictions and picks. Last week I went 10-6 in my predictions. My overall season record is 51-28-1. Pretty fucking good. So I think I know what I'm talking about, man. Let's get into our picks, man. Tonight, Thursday Night Football, Soldier Field, like I said, my brother Flows will be there, 79th and Hallis. Bears and Commanders. I'm going to go Bears, man. I usually don't get my score. I'll get my score because we didn't have a preview pod this week because it was a short week. I just want to see progress from the offense. I really love what I saw from the offense against Minnesota. I want to build on that. I want Justin to build on that confidence that he got against the Minnesota game. They got Jalen Johnson be back. It's a huge thing for the defense. Nicole Harry be making his Bears debut, a season debut this week. Be at the crib, primetime game, interesting to see. Carson Wentz is just one of the worst quarterbacks in football. The defense is not getting good. They've just been bad altogether. I don't think the Bears run away with anything, but I do think this will be a game that they're going to win. I'm going to say the Bears win this one 24-21 by field goal, and it will be better than last week's game. Niners-Falcons, like I just said, sneaky good game. I think it'll be close, but I think the Niners will have enough to win this because they have a better defense, and I think they'll be able to slow down the good things that the Falcons do. Falcons don't have any Kyle Pitts. That's going to be a blow for them. I'm going to go Niners. Browns-Pats, nasty game. If you like to see a game between two game-managing quarterbacks and a whole bunch of runs and defenses, this is the game for you. But the Browns at the crib, they should be able to win this one. I'm going to go with the Browns. A lot of Nick Chubb this week is what's going to happen in that game. Packers-Jets in my top 3 must-watch games. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a close game. This is something I feel like if Aaron Rodgers isn't on the same page with his receivers, this is going to be games that can make some trouble for them. I really like what the defense has been doing for the Jets. Sauce Walker had a big game. I said Sauce Walker. Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner had a big game last week, getting his first career interception. They're going to be coming to this game ready. But in the day, at Lambeau Field, there's going to be a player or two that's going to go there where Aaron Rodgers still Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go with the Packers. Colts Jags. Hey, man, stop putting the AFC South on TV. Just give us the results of these games. I'm tired of watching these shits. Just when we thought the Jags was going to be one of them teams that's a young, fun team to watch, they put up terrible performances in back-to-back weeks. I don't care about neither one of these teams. The Colts are looking worse. And, Atlanta Falcons fans looking right about Matt Ryan. That being said, I think this will be a nasty game that the Colts win. Vikings, Dolphins. Game can go either way because it's the fucking Vikings. It's the fucking Vikings. And if you're a Viking fan, you should be annoyed because there's so much talent on this team. If they had a quarterback, and I don't think Kirk Cousins is bad. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. You live with Kirk Cousins, you die with Kirk Cousins. They had a quarterback who didn't make mistakes. This would be a championship contender team. But Kirk Cousins is going to do Kirk Cousins shit. I'm going to pick the Vikings. I'm not that confident about it. I can see the rookie quarterback going off. I can see their defense making plays. I can see Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill doing what they do and doing enough for this game. And Mike McDaniel schemes them to win. But I'm going to go with the Vikings in a very close one. Bengals Saints. If I was betting, I'd stay the fuck away from this game. I just don't like what I'm seeing from the Bengals. I'm going to pick the Bengals in this game. I'm not confident about that pick. I don't like that pick. But I'm going to go with the Bengals. They got to win. They got to win this one, man. You can't be out here and lose to the Saints, man. You can't lose and put yourself in already deeper hole than you already at. Ravens, Giants. Like I said, the Giants dose reality hits home this week. And fucking Lamar Jackson is going to do what he did against the Jets. He's going to go crazy. It should be an easy win for the Ravens. Bucks Steelers. This is a get-right game for the Bucks. Bunny Colvin, a.k.a. Todd Bowles, he really disappointed me with his comments about this not being a big deal between two black head coaches going at each other. He said, when y'all stop making it a big deal, be a big deal. Cut the shit, man. Cut the shit. Because I don't like it because you're giving an open platform for white people on Twitter, racist white people on Twitter. Let me clarify because all white people ain't like that. Racist white people on Twitter like, see, that's what it's right. It's not about race. It's about how you do your job. It's bullshit. It is a big deal. Not a lot of coaches in the NFL. Not a lot of black coaches in the NFL. This is a big deal. And that's the type of shit I didn't like. But the Colts going to whoop their ass, man. Kenny Pickett's not coming to Tom Brady's house and doing anything. So I'm going with the Bucks. Rams, Panthers, skip game. The Rams better win this fucking game. You better not be losing to the back. I don't even know who the hell the backup is in Carolina because Sam Darnold hurts. I don't even know who the hell playing quarterback. All I know is the Rams better win this fucking game. But I'm going to pick the Rams because they have no fucking choice. Cardinals, Seahawks. Stupid finish alert. You can bang that gavel. You can bang that button 3 days ahead of time. This is going to be a very funny game, a very competitive game. But I think the Cardinals got just enough to win, so I'm going to go with the Cardinals with this one. Bills, Chiefs. I cannot wait to see this. This is going to be a very competitive game. I think it's going to go down to the wire. But I just think the Bills get it done. They've had this game circled. Now, this is a game where the secondary going to get worked out. I don't think this is going to be a game where you see a lot of defensive play. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game like we saw in the playoffs last year because half of the Bills secondary is out, and Patrick Mahomes is going to feast. Having said that, I do think the Bills pull out a very, very close one-score win. So I'm going to go with the Bills get the win over the road. Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday Night Football. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, man. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think the defense will be great. I think Cooper Rush will do just enough. I think they're coming into this one loose. And I just don't see the Eagles going 6-0. I think they're due for a loss. They didn't play that well against not Carolina, but Arizona. And it wouldn't surprise me if they won. Obviously, they're at the crib. But I think this is the week that gets them. And I think it's good for them to take an L early. Even though it's a division loss, it's early in the season. You don't want to be looking at 8-0 and you don't know how it feels to lose right away. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys for this one. And then the final game of the week, Monday Night Football. Chargers, Broncos, man. Stop putting the Broncos on TV, dog. Stop putting them on TV. I'm going to pick the Chargers just because the Broncos can't score. They can't score. Like it looks terrible what's going on out there in the Mile High. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers in that one, man. So those are all my picks for this week, and we're gonna wrap this up. My Goofy Mug of the week. I gotta give it to my boy Devontae Adams, and I gotta give it to him because, dog, you can't be pushing credentialed workers, bro. I understand you were frustrated. I get it. I get it why he's mad. Where that game ended. But he said, "Oh, he just jumped in front of me and I just pushed him." You shoved the shit out of him, dog. You can't be doing stuff like that. Now he's facing a misdemeanor, which I think is a little bit too much. But at the same time, Devontae Adams pushed me. I'd have rolled up to the courthouse in a wheelchair and a neck brace, eating some vanilla wafers like Young Thug did. So I understand what dude did. But now you got yourself a misdemeanor charge. Now you got to come out your pocket, pay buddy, so he can shut the fuck up and dismiss the charge. This is too much, bro. You gotta control your emotions better than you have, man. You got to be smarter than that, bro. And I don't think Devontae is that kind of guy. But I think Devontae is a real nice guy, and we seen him. He pushed somebody over in Green Bay, and he immediately got him off. I don't think he's that kind of guy. But when you're in that position and the amount of money you're making, you gotta move smarter than that, bro. So I gotta give him a good mark of the week for that. But that is all we got for y'all today. Once again, shout out to our guest, Ashley Nicole Moss, for joining us. Y'all getting tuned with everything she's doing. We appreciate everything. We appreciate y'all for watching each and every week. We'll be back next week. You know to follow me on Twitter at BarberChairScott. You know to follow HB Media on Twitter at HB Media TV and at HB Media on Instagram. Follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Visit thebcnet.com. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. Barbershop Shop coming real soon, man. New summer sessions is out right now. 79th and Hollis will be dropping on Friday. Tomorrow we'll be going live 9 p.m. Central Time to break down the Vikings and Commanders games before the little mini bye they got coming up. So I'll holler at y'all, man. I'm not gonna hold you.
Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna